5 years, painters. 5 years. I've been making consistent art under the Space Case moniker. 5 long grizzled years. Started off a young lad. Now I'm just a grizzled old bearded man. Where's time gone? What has the world done to me? So anyway, I thought today we could take a look back at the last 5 years of my art progression. It's changed a lot over the years, and with social media stuff like Instagram where you document your life, you can go back and kind of see how far you've come. So we're gonna go back and check out the beginning of my art, the beginning of Space Case. We've got our eerie green mood lights to get you in the mood, and now we're gonna click over to my Instagram and check out the evolution of my art style over the years. Be it good or bad. The Space Case Instagram. Austin Robinson. I used to sell art. I still do, but I used to too. Little Mitch Hedberg reference for you. It's not really a good bio, honestly. That's a pretty terrible bio. I know it is, you don't have to tell me. The link is to a survey that we were trying to get people to fill out because we're working on getting a skate park in this town I live in, and that actually expired over a month ago. That shows you how much I've been paying attention to my Instagram, that I have an expired survey as my bio. This Instagram needs work. To give you a little history while I'm scrolling, the Space Case Instagram was actually started not as like an art career thing. It was actually, and this pains me to say it, I was kicking around the idea of making like SoundCloud rap before Lil Peep had gotten super popular, but he was like still making music, and I was really into him and Ghost Main and Wavy Jones and the Suicide Boys and Puya and all those people. And in my head I was like, yeah, like I'm sad and I have stuff to say too. I've been through things, like maybe I'll make music and my rap name will be Space Case. It hurts me. Thankfully, I didn't do any of that stuff. It was just another one of those ideas that stayed in my head. Then I had this like fake Instagram that I could just put up art at the time that I was doing. I wasn't trying to like sell art at the time, but I was just like, oh, I'll throw it up on this like Finsta that no one knows about. And somehow my Finsta became like a real life Instagram, and then became a brand that I had for a few years. It's crazy how things work out. Are the mood lights too much? I feel like they might be too much. We'll see. Very first post, oh, look at Big Sexy right here. They'll name constellations after me. I thought I was gonna be a rapper. I really, oh god, it hurts so bad to look back on. Early paintings, I did a lot of like night scenes and like stars and space stuff. Had zero training. I wasn't trying to like make cool stuff. I was super depressed and I needed something to take my mind off wanting to myself. Yeah. This video is gonna be dark in the beginning. Space Case didn't start out as like a nice, fun, like monstery, happy, goofy thing. It was actually like, hey, I'm drinking 2 bottles of wine by myself in my bedroom and all I want to do is die, but I'll paint instead. This was a Lil Peep lyric. I know all about the pain that you go through and my heart's in a prison. A little skate clip before Space Case was Instagram stuff. Barely popped a nollie back heel. That's bad. That's cringy. Shouldn't have posted that. It didn't even pop, really. Uncomfortable. Early stuff of my art was not good. What's this one say? Hate you, love you. Oh, that's so deep. Man, Austin, you are just like, you're so deep. I literally painted my hand red and then like touched the paper, let the torturing ensue. Unfortunate. Sex related stuff. Believe it or not, I wasn't having sex at this time. Hard to believe that somebody so depressed and making so much like art just alone in his room wasn't having sex. It's actually not too hard to believe. It's just me smoking a joint. I don't smoke weed anymore, so it's just funny looking back at that stuff. I really loved weed back then, man. Big Kush Papa. Dude, Jesus Christ, this time in my life was so painful. I do have a lover loser tattoo from It. I still have it. It's definitely one that I plan on getting covered eventually. There it is. Oh god. Oh, decisions that you make when you're depressed, and then when you're like fine, you're mentally like happy, then you're just stuck with these tattoos. I tattooed myself a lot in those days. I had a machine and I would tattoo my thighs when I like couldn't sleep or I was just like depressed. Dude, I have so much dumb tattooed on me. Maybe one day I'll make a video. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments if you would like to see my depression tattoos that I gave myself. I think this might be officially where Space Case started. New Etsy shop is live. This was the night of Thanksgiving in 2017. So that's when Space Case like officially launched. It was all like tie-dye stuff. It wasn't even art or paintings. Like I wasn't even taking that stuff serious. It was all tie-dye. Like I said, I used to smoke a lot of weed, so I was painting a lot of rolling trays, and like the early form of Space Case was a lot more like hippie involved. Peace in the world, man. Oh, it's so sad. Oh. The fuck over yourself. Ah, jeez. I actually sold a lot of of these. I used to smoke out of this zombie hand. I just look back at this time with such disdain. There's some early pictures of my girlfriend before she was my girlfriend. She was just like an art friend of mine that we would also like help each other out with our business stuff. So she was modeling some shirts for me. Now we touch fronts. There's hints. There's small hints in the beginning of where my style is kind of at now, just not nearly as good. I was doing all of these in Photoshop, literally just dragging my mouse in Photoshop. Now I have like the drawing tablet and all that stuff. The Trenton Punk Rock Flea Market, we vended there and we did really well, but it was kind of evident that like we're at this punk rock flea market, we get along with everybody there, and it was kind of like an early sign of, hey, psychedelic art thing may not be for me. When people would walk by and see the tie-dye shirts, they wouldn't even look at the rest of the stuff. They would just write it off and be like, I thought the 60s were over, man, groovy. And I would just f***ing stare at them and be like, please die, please die, please die, please die. Yeah, my art style might have to change soon. A little picture of me in the bathtub. I think that was one of the first pieces I ever did with the kind of like lizardy S eyes that I like do all the time in all of my pieces now. I still do those. Pull this one off the wall. It's got all the S eyes. There was obviously just a blatant misunderstanding of how a mushroom would look. The cap wouldn't be behind the stem. That doesn't make sense. Somebody bought that, and I feel bad that somebody paid money for that. I was still doing a lot of the tie-dye art, which every once in a while I think back and I'm like, that was cool. Like, I should go back and do that. And I kind of did eventually evolve that into more of my current style, and we'll get to that, but this was still 2018, where I think the first half was still like, oh, I'm making psychedelic stuff, but I'm not particularly excited about all the psychedelic stuff. Maybe I should change it up. I still wasn't doing art full time. We'll get to that, because that's actually, when I think back, it's ridiculous that I was ever able to do art as like a career. It could have been because I was willing to just like any commission somebody threw my way, I would just do it. So like, hey, you want like a rolling tray that just says Fortnite? Yeah, cool, I'll do that, sick. Oh, my friend Ollie to 12 stair this day, and I took a cool picture of him and made it all like trippy. And then we went to Washington, D.C., and I took this cool photo in a Huff shirt. Hell yeah, boy, Huff, hit me up, I'm down to model. We got some dark stuff. We're getting more into like the horror side of things. I love this. I would love to just do more dark, sinister stuff like this, but also make it funny and like more like horror comedy. Horror comedy is my favorite genre. I'm not really interested in like just horror. I have always loved lowbrow art. I just never knew what it was called or how to like look up the stuff I was into. I just knew I loved Jim Phillips, but I didn't know who Jim Phillips was. I just knew I loved the art style from like the Tony Hawk games and skateboard graphics and stuff. I've always loved the more cartoony skateboard graphics. I'm not into like the let's just take a picture of a vase and put it on skateboard. I think that's awful. This guy, D-Lo Draws, really great artist. I found him through the Lifeform Drawing Club. He did D-Lo Draws Cool Cat Club, and I was like, you know what, I got a cat, and I'm down for like an art challenge. Yeah, let's do it. Cool Cat Club, I'm gonna do it. So it was all these like cat things, daily prompts. The first one was cat fink. This was probably the first time I ever did something lowbrow-esque that I was like, this feels good. I want to keep doing this. I did this trippy pizza cat. Some of them, they go back and forth. A lot of it wasn't good, but there are certain ones that are just like, oh, that has, that one kicked. They had like hints of where my style was going. Still doing the trippy stuff though, but even this, like mushroom with eyes and lasers coming out of it, it's a little more where I'm at today. Still doing a lot of the alien trippy stuff. Oh, we're getting more into like spaceships, blah blah blah. Did really well doing vending events, but still, as you can see, like more tie-dye hippie. This is still 2018. I did all these horror tie-dye things. This is when I was doing beanies. As you can see, I've always been into like certain aesthetics, but like the lighting on these is terrible. I don't know why I chose that. 31 horror drawings for the 31 days of October. I had finished them in September. So during October, I didn't have to do anything. So I was really just like messing around with like a new style and new stuff. And so October of 2018 would have been where the Space Case style that I imagine a lot of you newer people that follow my stuff, this is the early signs of where you would recognize my art. Space Case, commissions open, and it was me as an alien with a third eye and this alien controlling my brain, because Space Case from the jump was always intended to mean my brain, like I'm a space case, I space out a lot, instead of basket case, space case. It wasn't supposed to be strictly space related, and so many people don't get that. This was the next vending setup I had done, still doing tie-dyes and long sleeves and stuff, but this was the very first New Jersey Scum woodcut I ever made. Not very good, the details aren't there, there's like barely, and yeah, I don't know. I look back on this and I'm just like kind of ashamed, because now I can make really cool ones, but back then I was not making the best stuff, and I was still charging a decent amount of money. And then that's hard because, okay, say I can sell a painting for 50. Eventually when you do something like this, you can't sell it for 50 because that's ridiculous. I'm way better now. This is worth more. Pricing art sucks. I hate pricing art so much. It's kind of why I've stopped selling a lot of art, because I just hate having to attach value, because people either are like, oh, that's way too much. You don't understand the time I've put into this and the effort, the years it's taken to evolve this style, and I say years as if it's been a lot. It's been like 2 years. So there's a long way to go. This was directly Jim Phillips inspired. Like, you can tell with the eyes and everything. I didn't even do like the SI. Yeah, we're getting more into a lowbrow version. This was probably the first Nuke-Tune-esque thing I did. Again, like, I kind of feel bad that somebody bought this, because this eye right here is clearly smaller than the other one. Like, there's certain things I pick apart my old art, and I shouldn't, because there's nothing I can do about it, but it's impossible not to. I did a cookie eating Santa Claus. Yeah, and this is where I started doing more of the New Jersey Scums, because they sold well. Like, they did well for me, and I was like, well, maybe I should keep this going. I was doing a lot of commissions back then, taking any commissions I could get. That's kind of how I was able to do full time. I wasn't only selling my art, I was doing a lot of just random commissions, and a lot of them I didn't share. People would always be like, how are you making money if you don't have that much stuff for sale? And you assume that I have to share everything under the sun with you? Back when I would press pins, I was doing album artwork, still doing the rolling trays. Eventually I started incorporating like the monsters with the tie-dye stuff. I called them LS Demons. Thinking about bringing those back. They had potential. I would do them different now, but they definitely had potential. Little killer snowman. My art name before Space Case was Austy the Snowman. That's back when I only sold tie-dyes, so they were Frosty Austy tie-dyes. My first enamel pin that I made on a leather jacket. I really do like that picture. Another LS Demon that I did. This is when I was like starting to kind of mess around with like shading with brush tip markers. I also like the way I did this one. It's different. Like, this is probably how I do stuff now. Huh. We'll save that one. I like that one a lot. I did a music video for this rapper Clumsy, and with the money I charged for that, I ended up buying an iPad and an Apple Pencil, and that's when I started doing more digital art. At the same time, friends of ours were cool enough to give us the opportunity to be in their store. We paid rent to have a big section there, and I was probably there for maybe like 6 months. But it was a good time. It was a learning opportunity, because in my head, like, the ultimate goal of art was to have my own store. Not that it was my own, but having the opportunity to be a part of a store so early in my art career, where my style wasn't even remotely fully developed. It's still not. I'm still working every day, but now I can actually recognize that. I won't say it killed that dream, but it definitely didn't fulfill me the way I thought it would. I honestly, most of the stuff I made during that time was just whatever. It wasn't that good. It was just like, keep my section stocked so I can sell stuff. This spring and summer, it was all just like, make as much as you can to make as much money as you can. And that's what I did, and it worked well. I like this. This is like one of the few things that came out of it that I enjoyed. I don't look back at this time in the history of Space Case as like an awesome developmental time, and I feel like I wasted a lot of time that I should have been developing my style. But I guess by doing these 50 states, I guess that kind of developed it. I don't know. I don't have much to say about that time, but that brings us into fall of 2019, which is where I'd say like I really started to feel confident in what I was doing. I did these glow-in-the-dark woodcut pumpkins, and they sold really fast and really well. I was juiced. And then right here, this is the first Nuke-Tune I ever did, this Bart Simpson woodcut. Custom Hat Pins was really cool. They saw this design and they reached out to me and they were like, hey, we want to make you enamel pins for free. Like, the agreement was they get to make some to sell on their own website, and then I get mine made for free, but they just get to use my art to sell. And I was like, it's Bart Simpson, like, it's not even mine to begin with, so hell yeah, like, that's amazing. That's another, like, I don't know, I can't really, artists ask for advice of, oh, like, what's your advice for full time, like, how did you survive? I just had weird, cool opportunities. Early on, I was able to be in a brick and mortar store. You can make quite a bit of money with just people coming in and out. That was a weird opportunity that not many people would have. And then same thing with this pin company reached out to me and gave me like free money, essentially. Like, hey, we're gonna give you these pins for free, and then you could just sell them. There was no investment costs. It was all profit. So there's just weird things where stuff just worked out nicely for me, and it's kind of hard to give advice. I think I got really lucky during this time, but as we move forward through the years, you'll see that luck eventually kind of runs out. Things got a little weird. This is when I started leaning heavy into doing like Nuke-Tunes, like King Boo. The videos are there on my art channel for you to watch. Go watch all the old videos, check them out. I was doing a lot. This kind of gets into the mind-melting art of Space Case era. Yeah, I was starting to feel a little better about my art. I thought it was getting better. I was feeling comfortable charging more money for things. Little skate clip. Let's check it out. Nollie back 5-0. And then I think my friend Keenan does a nose blunt. Nollie 5-0. Boom. What's Keenan got? Nose blunt. This is when my YouTube channel just all of a sudden, I won't say blew up, but like all of a sudden I was jumping up like 1,000 subscribers a day. What the f is happening? And I went from maybe making like $100 or $200 a month on YouTube to like $1,000. What? I made $1,000 on YouTube? That's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. That like also motivated me. So I feel like when I look back on Space Case, I think December of 2019 to June of 2020, that's when I look back on it with the most gratitude and happiness and fondness. I loved that era of what I was doing, what Space Case was during that time. It was exciting. There was growth, there was interaction, I was streaming a lot. I was really happy during that time. I remember really loving the stuff I was making. I was starting to just mess around and do random stuff like this, which is definitely like my style now. The crack house and the feeling like shit stickers. It was just a good time. I got paid to do some animations, which was fun, and then that led into like, me wanting to do my own cartoon, and which I'm still working on. Turns out making your own cartoon with like voice acting and all that stuff, it takes a lot of time. I severely underestimated the amount of work that you have to put in. I think this deck was right about when COVID started, the lockdowns and stuff, so going forward it was all full lockdown mode. But like these Nuke-Toon versions of like Animal Crossing characters, I think that's pretty much where Nuke-Toons is at today. I'm still doing those. I just don't do them under the Space Case name. They're on like a specific Nuke-Toons account now because I'd like to separate me just drawing cartoon characters that already exist and then me drawing my own stuff. I wanted that to be in separate lanes. I don't want to be known as like, oh, that's just the guy that like draws Animal Crossing monsters. I wanted to get more into being my own person. This was going to be like a reworked business card that I never even ended up making. The Space Cakes were starting to happen. A little blink test for my Space Cakes animation. That's the cartoon I've been working on. In October, I was planning on doing another 31 horror drawings, but I knew the toll it took on me, so I was like, you know what, I'll start in July instead of doing just all of September, like my hand cramping all day, every day. Slowly tease them for October, and I was planning on doing stickers, and October was going to be a big money month for me. I was really looking forward to it. I had so much stuff. I hit 18K on YouTube. This was July of 2020. I was feeling real good, real good. And then I came home from vacation and my house was flooded and everything I owned was gone. All my art was underwater. Yeah, I lost everything. That's kind of when Space Case as like the career, it died very suddenly. It was drowned. Okay? Took the head and just forced it down into the water, just dead. Space Case was gone. I didn't know it at the time. I thought like, okay, it's a setback, but like we'll get back to it. I wanted to get back to it. I tried, but from this moment on, it never felt the same. Mentally, just in such a bad place that it was very hard to create art or create videos, and it was hard to even care like about making money or anything like that. So it was just rough. 20K subscribers, that's cool. And then at this time too, I started working a regular job because I still had bills. I had to make money, so I got a job plumbing, and now I still do that today. And I gotta be honest with you, I think I like it more than I liked doing art full time, but also I got some stickers coming out, so make sure you buy them. 2021 comes around, I'm feeling a little lost. I haven't really been posting much. I was like, I gotta get back on it, but like, I want my Instagram to look good. I gotta come back with a bang. Designed these borders that were gonna surround all of my Instagram pictures, and my Instagram would just be one big monster. Like it's an aesthetic thing. People are gonna notice. They're gonna like be like, whoa, check out this guy's Instagram account. It's so cool. And I was like, yeah, this will motivate me to post more. It didn't. I still barely posted, and I barely created YouTube stuff all of 2021. It didn't really motivate me. It's like when you put duct tape on a giant leak, thinking that it's actually gonna stop any of the actual problems. It doesn't. You're putting stitches on a wound that needs staples. I moved out this year with my girlfriend. We live together now. Everything I'm proud of from this year, it hasn't been art related, it's been life related. Live with my girlfriend now. I just bought a new car. I'm doing pretty good life wise, but art wise, I don't know, I've kind of felt very lost this year. 23K in July. I don't think we've hit 24 yet. And yeah, I don't fully deserve to hit 24 yet. Like, I've barely been uploading. It's just, it's a weird thing to kind of go through. I had all these plans for this Town of Oddity art project that I was creating, and that was supposed to start in September, and I don't know. Mentally, I couldn't handle it. I was putting so much pressure on myself art-wise that, like, there's nothing fun about creating. I ruined creating for myself through running, like, this Space Case brand and, like, evolving this brand in real time when really really it's just like my own developing art style. It's been hard to navigate. I don't even know the words for it. Wait, I did these cupcakes. I ended up getting poison ivy on my entire body at the beginning of October. That hurt. I couldn't do anything. Then I got really sick for a week. I had 104 fever for like 5 days straight. Didn't have COVID. I got multiple tests. Didn't have it. And then on Halloween day, one of our cats, we found him just dead under our bed. That just ruined Halloween for me, and just like I was just so bummed on everything. I just was like, I don't care about creating anything. Like, I just want to be happy. So I had made this post. I took all of November off from social media. I didn't go on it. I didn't bother. I just needed some time. So yeah, I'm not selling my art for a while. Absolute honor to make money from art and YouTube, but turning my hobbies into money makers has completely taken the joy out of both things for me, and it has. When you treat everything as just something to monetize, it takes away like the actual like happy reliefs that you would get from doing those things. And like, since I've stopped doing that stuff, I've been enjoying painting a lot more. I've been like working on this skateboard lately and trying to like really like shade it and make it look nice, and I'm not planning on selling this. Like, this is just for me. It's gonna hang in the background somewhere, and I've been doing a lot more art for myself lately, and that feels really good. I'm rambling. Let's get back to the old history of Space Case. What does it mean?